Welcome back, guys, to another video. I've just finished watching West Ham 2, Brighton Hove Albion 2. West Ham have failed to beat Brighton for the 7th time since they've been in the Premier League. Guys, I'm absolutely fuming with that result. 2 points dropped at home to a team who are fighting relegation. It's an awful performance. Awful result. Guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button, especially if you support West Ham. That would be greatly appreciated. Now, guys, if you're a regular viewer on this channel, you would know now, I'm a big fan of what David Moyes has brought to this team. He's brought work ethic. He's made the team a lot fitter. We've been generally defensively more solid. But today, he got it completely wrong. He is not exempt from criticism. And today, questions have to be asked of David Moyes. Because we've gone in this game, the team that we set out with the view of that, it looks like we was playing Manchester United. We set up as if we was playing Manchester United, Manchester City. You know, absolutely awful. I was expecting a team that'd be on the front foot, exciting, try and get at Brighton. This was a team that didn't have their number one right back, their number one outlet in Tariq Lamptey. They had Ben White playing right wing back. I was expecting maybe Ben Rama or Lanzini to start and get at them, but we didn't do it. We decided to go back to the 5 at the back, which I agree with. I agree with the fact that we changed shape. I just don't agree with the personnel that he decided to play. We go back to a back 5. Fabianski, obviously, the normal back 5. Well, the normal back 4. Then Ben Johnson played in that left wing back. And I thought Ben Johnson was absolutely superb. We'll talk about his goal a little bit later. But he was generally absolutely superb, I thought. For someone who hasn't had a lot of match sharpness and match experience lately, he's played left wing back before against Watford. He was very, very good. Now, in terms of the 3 midfielders, Mark Noble, Rice, Souček, no creativity, slow. What was he thinking against a team that has only won 1 game in the last 12 in the Premier League? A team that yes, they are a bogey team, but we gave them far too much respect. Then Bowen was up front with Sebastian Haller. Now, in terms of what we actually saw in the first half from West Ham, we saw nothing. We saw exactly what we thought was going to happen from that start in the lineup. We was too slow on the ball when we did get it. And Brighton, whilst I've said in my preview that Brighton would have lots of possession, they would pass it side to side, they would be happily go back to the goalkeeper, use their 3 centre-backs, get it out wide, try and play forward when they can. But when they did get into forward areas, I was expecting us to be a little bit more proactive in terms of our aggression, in terms of winning the ball back. We were standing off them. The amount of times Adam Lallana would pick the ball up around about 25 yards, 30 yards from goal, there was no pressure, there was no tackle or attempt of a tackle. And today, a lot of players weren't good enough. A lot of players weren't good enough. Declan Rice didn't have a good game. A lot of them in the first half had an absolutely terrible game. Anyway, Brighton go 1-0 up with a ball that gets pulled back. Declan Rice tries to read it. He reads the interception. There's a little bit of a collision between Ogbonna and Declan Rice. I'm not too sure what happened there. Maupay spins on the ball. He scores. Exactly what Brighton deserved. They were the team on the front foot. They were the team that looked like they were 10th. We were the team that looked like we're trying to save, get a point, trying to scrap for our lives. We looked like the team that were near the bottom of the table. Absolutely awful. And if you actually look at the Premier League table, West Ham are 10th. There's a little bit of a gap now between 10th and 9th. 9th is Southampton. We have Southampton next. But there's only 3 or 4 points in it between West Ham and 14th, 15th. And we spoke about a couple of weeks ago in terms of after we beat Leeds, where realistically could this West Ham team go? I think now we're slowly coming to the realisation that we're nowhere near challenging for the top 8. I think the best we're going to do is 10th to 12th, which is a little bit disappointing because of how well how good our start to the season was. Goes into half time, he makes 2 substitutions. He's made 2 substitutions. Lanzini. Now Lanzini, I was really happy about. I wanted to see him start because the impact he come off the bench against Crystal Palace whilst we drew the game. He was dropping deep to receive the ball. He was, he wanted the ball in tight areas. He was gliding past players. He wanted the ball. He wanted to impress because he knows he hasn't had as many match minutes. But in order to give him the match minutes, he's got to perform. And the last 2 times that he's come off the bench, he has performed. He gets involved in the act. He gets an assist. Yarmolenko, the other substitution. Bowen comes off. Now, touching upon that, I was very surprised to see Bowen come off. Yes, he didn't have the greatest game. But he is, when you look at that West Ham team with no Masuaku, No Ben Rama, no Bowen, no Antonio. It lacks pace. It lacks pace. Going forward, we're very slow in transitions when those players are not playing. Yarmolenko comes on. He does actually have an impact. He done pretty well, actually, I thought, in terms of he was having a nice little combination play between Haller and Lanzini, but he does his traditional trademark. Okay, he comes on from the right-hand side. He does a couple of step-overs. He comes onto his left, puts a cross in. Lanzini jumps up for the ball. It comes back to him. He does very well. He does very well to keep it alive. Pulls it back to Ben Johnson, who I said who had a very, very good game at left wing back. Very comfortable on both feet. It's a fantastic finish. He sticks it in the top corner when a lot of players, right, I'm not going to mention names, where a lot of players would probably sky out and lose that little bit of composure in front of goal. A left wing back has that composure. He puts it in the top corner. It's 1-1. And I'm looking at this game going, guys, we don't deserve to be back in it. We don't deserve to be back in it. But now can we be proactive? Can now we get on the front foot? Can now we win this football match? Because if we had won this football match, guys, we would have got away with it. We've got away with getting a point, realistically. But I was expecting Moyes to maybe make a sub. Right, let's bring Ben Rama on. Let's go and win this game. Let's now go and win a game that realistically we don't deserve to be involved in. Because we should have lost this match. We should have lost this match. Now, 2-1. Brighton go 2-1 up. And it's a similar pattern we've seen with West Ham. For some reason, when we score, we sit back off again. We were sitting off and we were letting Brighton get back into the game. They get a corner. It gets whipped in. Thomas Souček, he flies out a diving header. I'm not really going to criticise him really too much because he's trying to clear it. It hits Lewis Dunk. Haller should have probably done better in terms of challenging Lewis Dunk at least. Now, VAR, it looks like it's hit Lewis Dunk's elbow or any part of his arm. It looks like it's hit his arm, his elbow, whatever it is. The law is if it hits your arm in a build-up to a goal, it must be disallowed. It has to be disallowed. Now, you can't really tell 100%, but it bloody looked like it hit his arm. You know, they were using so many angles, whether they could decide if it was going to hit his arm, didn't hit his arm. Sky Sports, right, after the game, I got a text message saying that the angle they used clearly shows us a handball. So whatever angles VAR are using, please sort it out. But I'm not going to touch too much on it because I feel like if we use VAR as a scapegoat, we're sort of coming away from the truthful reflection of the game that we were generally awful. Lewis Dunk gets on the rebound, smashes it in the back of net, 2-1. Then I'm thinking, Ben Rama, he's got to come on. He's got to come on. You know, we're losing the game Brighton to 2-1. Ben Rama gives that little bit of creativity, that little bit of pace, change the shape, maybe bring off Cresswell or Ben Johnson. Maybe, you know, Cresswell, because I thought Ben Johnson was having a very good game and it would probably be too harsh to bring him off and not put him left back. So maybe bring off Cresswell, but then you're maybe losing that little bit of creativity that he brings in terms of his crossing. I'm thinking, bring Ben Rama on, you know. But it's very clear to see, guys, it's very clear to see that David Moyes just does not rate Ben Rama. For whatever reason, and I just don't understand why go through with a transfer, you know, with a loan with an obligation to buy of 20 million, 25 million, 30 million, whatever it is, if he's never going to get on the pitch. Now, if he's not going to get on the pitch when it comes to drawing at home to Brighton, who are 17th in the league, they've got less points than they've played, when realistically Ben Rama is going to play. I thought we saw enough against Leeds, whilst he didn't have the greatest game the following week against Crystal Palace, that he can come on, he can have an impact and he can bring something to this West Ham team. Something that we've been lacking. You know, someone direct, someone with pace, someone with a little bit of flair that can do the unexpected. He's left him on the bench. And I'm thinking, it's 81st minute, 82nd minute. We've used two substitutes and I'm thinking, why has he not brought Ben Rama on? What is he doing? So for me there, I'll be very surprised. Whilst we have got an obligation to buy, apparently the only way we can get out of it is if something comes up in his medical, which is what held up the deal to begin with. And it will not surprise me if something comes up and that transfer, Ben Rama does not go through. Because if he's not gonna play him against Brighton, when realistically he's ever gonna play him. So for me, David Moyes needs to answer the questions around why is he not playing Ben Rama? There's got to be something. Is he not doing enough in training? What is there to say that Ben Rama, because he's got a couple of assists already this season, but we do go and equalise. We get a corner ourselves. Ball whipped him by, I think it's Aaron Cresswell. And he gets flicked on. And there's Thomas Souček. He heads the ball in. Come on. 2-2. It's the 86th minute. I'm thinking, again, we are involved in a game that realistically we shouldn't be involved in. We're 2-2 against Brighton. Whilst we have been behind twice, it is still 2 points dropped. I'm thinking, bringing on Ben Rama, let's go a little bit more attacking. Let's try assert ourselves on the opposition because we were too defensive today. And he decides to leave it, and no chances prevail, and we draw 2-2. We draw 2-2 to Brighton. So, guys, we saw this last season. We saw this last season in terms of, you know, the big games, your Liverpools, you know, not so much Chelsea, but the results that we picked up this season against the big teams, Tottenham, you know, the games that we shouldn't realistically be winning, Leicester, Wolves, we've gone and dismantled them, or we've got a good point. But we're seeing similar patterns what we've seen from previous West Ham teams, is that against teams that we realistically should be asserting our dominance, asserting, you know, our quality, because we have got good players. We've got Lanzini, we've got players that have played for some top European clubs. We've got some players that have come from exciting championship teams, from Brentford. You know, we've got some of the best championship players, but we are not utilising them against teams that when we realistically we should be beating. We should be going to Brighton. Whilst I do think Brighton are a good team, you know, Cooper, you know, Graham Potter, I mean, he's trying to do something with them with not a lot of funds. We don't know what to do. We're very predictable. Get the ball out wide, put a cross in, and there's no plan B at the moment. There's no plan B. And I've been a big advocate of David Moyes, and I feel like a lot of people are saying David Moyes out. I think it's a little bit too soon to say that, because still we're sitting 10th in the league realistically, but that can easily change, guys. It can easily change because we're only a couple points, 1 or 2 bad games, and this season's already shown that if you're a team that can pick up a couple of results, 1 or 2 wins, or 2 or 3 wins in a row, or even 2 or 3 defeats, you know, the table can flip. We could realistically, if we lose to Southampton, which is very feasible because of the fantastic start the Southampton have had this season with Che Adams, with Danny Ings, which is it's a very possible thing that we could lose. If teams around us, like the Wolves, like Arsenal, pick up points in the next game, we could easily be sitting 14th, guys. So for me, we needed to win this game. I said it was a must-win game. I'm very, very disappointed. Guys, in the comment section down below, let me know. Let me know what you think of this game. For me, I'm not happy with David Moyes. David Moyes has got to answer. You know, Noble, I didn't even touch upon him, but he wasn't good enough again. He wasn't good enough. And Noble, for me, he's nowhere near a first-team starter. He's nowhere near a first-team starter. So for me, he's got to... Why did we play so negative at home against Brighton? I'm not too sure. Guys, that's going to be the end of the video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Support West Ham. Check my other West Ham content out on the channel. That would be greatly appreciated. Hit the like button. I'll catch you next time. See you later.